Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Lagoona Blue from Monster High. For this pattern you're going to need yellow or gold bands, pale blue for the dress, a little bit of pink on the shoes. For the skin tone I'm using a clear jelly, but if you have a very pale blue you'd like to use or a pale white, those are two more options. For the eyes, I originally used 2 beads, and I can show you how to thread the beads on. This time around, I'm just going to take 2 green bands. Now, if you are using beads, I would suggest something round. You can print out, cut out, and glue on eyes that are like the ones in the pictures of her, or you can draw them on with Sharpies, or you can pick beads of a different color, like green beads or gray, and then use black to draw the pupils. Alright, without further ado, you'll also want loom in the offset configuration, a hook and holding hook, a piece of floss to thread on beads, and some C-clips. Okay, now we can start. We are going to take 2 pink bands, wrap them on the end of your hook 1, 2, 3 times. Pull those onto 2 pink bands. Put the other side on, slide down. Take a blue band, wrap it on the end of the hook 1, 2, 3 times, and pop one of the pink bands over so that the blue sits in the middle of that first side. We're going to take 2 more pinks and slide everything onto those. And we want to get a clear band at the ready. Wrap that on the end of your hook 1, 2, 3 times. Now the clears, the jellies, and the ones I've got for the hair are thicker than the bands you might be using, so you might need one, or you might need to adjust the number of times that you're looping or how many bands you're using at a time, like if you're doubling over or not. But with the clear, we wrap it. We're going to pop that into the middle as well, and this will go onto 1 doubled over pink. So take a pink, stretch, twist, bring it back onto itself, put it at the end of your hook, and slide through all the pieces. And this is going to go onto 16 doubled over clear bands. Just before we do that, I want to show you at this length it will curl a little bit. You can, at the end, sort of sink the legs together. I'll show you how, or you can put a wire through the back if you're concerned about the curl, but I'll just tell you now this is going to curl. So, single, twist, double it over, pop it through. We're going to have 16 of these in total, and if you're not comfortable with this, you can take 2 bands at a time and just pull them through, but you're going to get a really thick and not too sturdy, like not all that sturdy leg. Okay, so this is 2, 3. We will go a little faster when we get to the second leg as well. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so halfway through in that first leg. 9. I'll tell you the challenge I've been having with designing the Monster High dolls, and I've been working on these for a while, is a lot of them, they've got really long, really skinny legs, and they have very detailed patterns on their clothes, very distinctive colors. and it's hard to reconcile the animated picture of or image of the hair to that of the dolls and find a good in between that can be done with Rainbow Loom bands. So I'm doing my best with these. I'm reasonably happy with the way they're turning out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3 more. 14, 15, and 16. So yeah, that being said, if anyone out there has any suggestions or things that you've tried that you found really worked well with these characters or characters like them, I would love to hear about it. Okay. Now, I'm not sure why, but some of my bands here are kind of twisty. We're going to make the other leg. And we're taking 2 pink bands again, wrap them on the hook 1, 2, 3 times. If you want, you can move that first leg onto another hook if it's in your way, of course. Pull your wrapped pink bands onto 2 pink bands. Replace. Get a blue for the middle. Wrap 1, 2, 3 times. Bring the first pink piece, pink side over so it's in the middle. This goes on to 2 more pink. Get it clear. Wrap it on. 1, 2, 3. Bring your pink piece over so that that sits in the middle, and this goes on to that doubled over single pink. And then onto our 16 double clear bands. This one is 10. A few more to go. 11. For what this is worth, this is probably the part that takes the longest to do. So after this, we'll be moving through a little bit faster. It's 12, I think. 13. 14. 15. These ones are so tight and my fingers are too big. And 16. And I'm going to measure these up to each other, make sure that they look about the same here. These are super curly. They're much more curly than my first set was, my first time through. Okay, so those 2 are good. Can push those down or put them onto another hook. Or actually, I think we're going to put these onto 2 blue bands. We'll do that right now. Put 2 at the end of the hook and slide your legs on. Now that I've pushed them back. Go. And I am going to put this in another hook because I feel like they're getting in my way here. Alright, so legs are done, they're down at the side. And for arms, we're going to take 1 pink band, no, 1 clear we're starting with. Wrap it on the hook, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you right now, this is the length of the arm, so if you want it to be any longer, you will add more. I'm going to do as I did on the original. And why does that say 4? That should not be right. Oh, 11. My 11 looks like a 4. We're going to put this onto 11 doubled over single clear bands. So just like the leg, but a little less complicated at the start, and as I said, a bit shorter. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Feel free to add on more at this point if you choose. I'm leaving it as it is. Scoot that down, we'll make one more arm, and then we're coming to the loom for a bit. Single clear or skin tone, wrap 1, 2, 3. When I say skin tone, I mean whatever color you're using for her skin. And we're going to put on put it onto a doubled over, and we want a total of 11 doubled over, so that'll be 10 more. Okay, so that's our second one. And 3. And 4. And I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I should start doing what some of the other loomers out there do and pre-counting my bands before I loop up. Not sure why I don't do that. Okay. Oops. Try that again. There we go. Alright, we have a couple of bands we're going to put onto the arm and ankles, but we'll do that after. For now, let's go to the loom and start on the body. So we have 2 clear bands coming from the top center to the second peg down. 2 clear bands from the second center to the second right, and 2 clear bands from the second center to the second left. Now we're coming down with double blue bands, once on either side. Second peg down to the third peg down. And one more set of double clear bands down in the middle. Now from here, this is optional, but I would recommend it. We're going to have some extra bands down on either side. We're going to have 5 dress colored or blue bands coming from the third peg to the fourth peg on each side. Oops. I had them all picked out there. They sprung away. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Opposite side, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the middle, we have double blue bands, so just 2 this time. One side of the third. Okay, we're going to continue with double blues down the middle until we get to the third peg from the bottom. So we're going to have 1 set, 2 sets, 3, come down 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, and stop. For the last 2 sets, you're going to take 3 bands together and lay them down once, and another 3 bands to the bottom. And this helps to make it a little thicker on that bottom part because we're going to add more on the other side as well. On either side, we're going to do the same thing. So starting at the 4th peg down, we're going to continue until we get to that 3rd peg from the bottom and stop there and switch to sets of 3. So to put down 2 bands, 2 bands, 3rd set, 4 times, 5, 6, and 7, and then we're going to lay out again 3 bands, and 3 bands, and we'll repeat this on the opposite side. So starting with doubles from that 4th peg down, we go until we reach the 3rd peg from the bottom. Okay, from there we can add our arms, and they will go on to the 2nd peg down on either side. So pop the bands from your hook. You can see I'm angling in from the side, and then once the bands are over, I bring my hook towards the inside and slide it around. Our legs can go on the bottom, stretch one side of the blue onto the bottom 2 on the left. The other side will go across. Get your hook in between and bring the blue band that they're sitting on over that bottom center peg. Okay, for our triangle bands, we're going to take a blue, bring it from the 3rd peg on one side to the 3rd peg down on the other, and then up over the 3rd peg down in the center, so you'll have a triangle. Do this one more time below across the 4th pegs. Now the next one is going to be a doubled over single blue. So let me see if I've got one that's already stretched out, and I don't. We'll have to work a couple here. Oh well. Stretch, twist, bring it back over across the 5th down, and we want her to have a really, really slim waist. So if you possibly can, then for your next 3, we're going to double it over, bring it across, and then loop it around another half time. You might find that you want to use your hook for this, and if you can bring it around a 3rd full time without breaking it, that's great too. So another time we're going to double it over, put it on your 7th pegs down, and then grab a piece with your hook or your hand, get it inside there, twist it around, and bring it back over to the center. One more super tight, and then we're going to have just single bands for the last couple there. Take a single, one, take another single, the next set, take another single, 3rd time, and one more single across the bottom set here, or the one above the bottommost pegs. I'll check my pattern, but I think that's all we need for our body. We can loop up. We'll be adding a couple things on after, but not to worry right now. I'm gonna get under the leg piece and loop the bottom 3 forward to the peg above. Get the next 3, loop them forward. I'm gonna loop up until I reach the 2nd set from the 3rd set from the top in the middle. And it occurred to me there's a change I'd like to make this time around. push back those holding bands where it's a half loop. You don't want to loop that up or you will lose the tension. Okay, so this part I'm going to make a little change. You do not have to make it, but I'm going to. I'm going to take off one arm, lift off the blue. Oh no, this won't work actually. We're just going to leave it the way it is. That'll be fine. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Okay, we're good. Let's go to the bottom on the side. I was just thinking, I'll tell you, I was thinking I wanted to have the blue underneath so that if and when we flip it around, it'll still be showing on top. But if we do that, we can't loop it, can we? Okay, we're going to go back to the bottom side on the left. We want to get the 3 that are coming down from the peg above. To do that, we push back the double bands that hold the legs, grab the 3, bring them around and over and onto the next peg, push down. Push back, get the next 3, loop them forward. We will loop straight up to the arms. And just make sure when you get to that set of 5 that you pick all 5 of those up. If you need to grab them one at a time, that's completely fine. And careful around the holding bands. There is some tension there because we have some doubled over bands and some that are even tighter than that. It's not what I wanted to grab. There we go. Okay, one more. Loop from that second peg down in the side towards the middle, getting the bottom 2 clear bands, which are under your arm. So reach through your arm to get those. Let's loop up the opposite side. Go under your holding band with the legs, get your bottom 3, loop up. And it looks like I only put 2 down there on that side. I'm gonna leave it. We'll hope for the best. If you've cut the same error, I hope you will fix it though. Keep going. Straight to the top. Or second from the top rather. Straight to the arms, I should say. If you find your loom is getting really tight, you can go to the bottom and relieve some tension on the pieces you've already looped up as well. So I know sometimes when there's a lot of tight bands on, it gets tricky. Make sure you get all 5 of your chest bands, I'll call them. Loop up to the second peg where the arm is, and then we're reaching through the arm for the bottom 2 clear to bring to the second center. Go down to the 3rd peg down in the middle and loop up once. Get your bottom 2 and loop up again. Now we can take this off, but don't lose the bands on that top center peg because that's what's holding everything together here. You can see what I'm doing. I'm starting towards the top of the loom, using the back part of my hook to carefully pop the bands around, up and over, and I'm moving towards the bottom of the loom. And then we can start on the center, and we want to do that also starting from further up. Coming down. When you've got most of it loose, you can put your hook through the bands on the top center peg and remove. Okay, if you've got loose bands, straighten them out, loop them in. Okay, if you have a side you prefer for the front, then you want your front side to be facing away from you, is what we'll say here. So I'm going to, you can use another hook if you need to, but take it off and put your hook through from the opposite side if that's what you need to do. So now this is my front side, it's going to face away from me, and I'm going to come to the loom to start on the face. Okay, take 2 bands of your hair color, I'm using yellow, come from the top center to the top right. Another 2 from the top center to the top left. This is very similar to what I did for one of my Sailor Moon characters. We come down twice on each row with double yellow bands. if you're using gold, it'll be double gold bands, so 2 at a time. And we're going back to the color you've chosen for your skin. 3 sets of double bands down the center, starting at the 3rd peg down. 2 sets of double bands come down from on either side, starting from the 3rd peg down. And I will hold this up for you right away. And 2 bands from the 5th side peg to the 6th center peg. Repeat that for the opposite side. So this is what you've got so far. Let's put our body on next. So with the front facing away from you, you're going to transfer your bands from your hook onto the 6th peg down in the center. We can make our eyes next. Yeah, we'll do our eyes next. Quickly show you if you are using beads with if you have beads that have a small hole in them. Let's go to 2 that are the same here. You can put a thin wire or piece of floss through. Goes through both eyes. Oh, I actually grabbed 2 that matched. And then I lost one. Try that again. 1. And through the other. You'll grab a clear band or one that matches your skin. Put it over and put your floss back through both. Or you can use a very thin beading needle, which might still be difficult, and thread, or a thin wire or twist tie might work as well, depending on the size of the holes in your beads. Just like this method, because if you're using seed beads or something like these pearl ones, it does get tricky. And you slide them until they are both on the center of your bead. That looks really funky, huh? Okay, so if you are using beads with a larger hole or you're using bands, you're gonna transfer them, put them on your hook. So bands, we're doing green here. Wrap 1, 2, 3 times, and 1, 2, 3 times. If you've got beads, just pop them right on with a larger hole, and then whichever you've used, you're gonna put a clear band on the end and slide your eyes over. 1, 2, and you're going to put your eyes across from the 4th peg down on one side to the 4th peg down on the opposite side. I believe that's correct. Good. Separate your eyes with your hook or your fingers, and you're going to take the band that it's on and put one side, one piece over the 4th peg down in the middle. Next up are holding bands. I believe we've got doubled over holding bands, although I haven't written it down, but that's what it looks like. We're going to take a clear band, stretch it, twist it, double it over, put it across the 5th pegs down, so that's the triangle under the eyes, and another one tight just above. If you have really large round eyes, you might want to keep one of these or both of them single, but I'll get you to play around with that. Take a single yellow, stretch it across your 2nd pegs down. Okay, so we are about ready to do the hair here. So as I said, the hair is a lot like that of one of the Sailor Moon characters I did. So this might be familiar to you if you've been tuning in. We are taking a single hair colored band, wrapping it 1, 2, and 3 times, and pulling it onto 16 sets of double hair colored bands. So take 2 bands together, put them on the top. Now this is going to be a lot faster and easier than the ones we did for the legs, because we won't have so much tightness on these. This is 3, 4. We're going to have a total of 4 chains, 2 of them at 16 and 2 of them at 10. 6, 7, I'll make all of them with you, so just bear with me here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I love how much faster it goes on. It's going on these. 13, 14, 15, and 16. And this will go onto the top peg on your left side. And then what we want to do is, because you don't want the hair just to be flopping out like this, we want it snug to the head, and we'll be securing it better afterwards too. But for now, we're going to pull this down, and you'll see there are several little chains. You want to grab a piece out of each one. I'm going to get this at a good angle for you. Grab a piece from the chain below and pop that over the peg that's underneath. And take a piece from the next chain. Sorry, I got to stretch this out while I do it. Put it onto the next one. I'm doing this at such a bad angle. There, and then one more time. So you're going to have 4 chains connecting to the 4 pegs below. If that makes sense. If it really doesn't, then just leave it loose on the top and you can kind of weave it in after. Second hair chain for the opposite side, wrap a single 3 times, pop it onto 16 sets of double bands. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. This goes onto the top right, so I'm going to flip it around and attach it on the top. Stretch it down and grab a piece out of the next 4, each of the next 4 chains to put onto each of the next 4 pegs. So what we've just done, make sure I've got just one of those, there we go. What we've just done is this outer piece. So if you want to leave it like that, you can. You'll have a bit of a gap there. I'm going to make the other 2 so that we've got a nice full head of hair. And our other 2 are going to be 10 chains each. So single wrapped 3 times, pulled onto 10 sets of double hair colored bands. 2, 3, 4. I'm also going to ask if anybody out there has chosen to do the gold color for the hair or a different color for the dress. I would really love to see it, because I was thinking there were a couple of different ways this could go, and yeah, I'm really curious to see what else you might have come up with. So please feel free to share a picture on my channel or on Instagram. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I'm listed under the same name. 9 and 10. Somebody, and this goes onto your 5th peg down on the side, and we'll repeat for the other side. Somebody just shared on Instagram with me. They had made my Valentine's Cupid, and it came out super cute. So I always appreciate the feedback, and it's really nice to see when people are enjoying and how you interpret and redesign things too. So please do share. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Goes onto the 5th peg down on your opposite side. And we are ready to loop this up.
Let me out! I'm stuck in your pocket.
I will have to check on that in just a couple minutes. Okay. So if you need to pull your neck piece, your body piece down under another peg, like onto another peg, you can do that. I'm just going to hold mine down for now. Reach underneath and get the next 2 bands, which are going to go over to the right. And it occurs to me, I think I'm going to take off that bottom yellow chain first, and then I'll replace it after. And that way it won't be stuck on top there. So make sure we've got the right ones, which is sometimes a bit of a challenge when our bands are all the same colors here. Press everything down. Pull these up to the side a little so I can see them better. That's 1, that's 2. Over to the right, and then we can put our hair back on. And I'm going to loop to the top on the right side. Do this kind of in a funny order. Press back everything but the bottom 2 clear and loop those forward. And loop forward bottom 2 clears until the top. Oh, or until you reach the yellows, and then we'll do bottom 2 yellows. And loop inwards towards the center. Go back to that 6th peg down in the middle. From under the neck piece, you're getting bottom 2 clears, putting those on under the hair piece, and then we'll replace the hair piece. I guess we could have put that on after in the first place, but this will be okay. And we're going to loop straight up. Bottom 2 clear, bottom 2 clear, bottom 2 yellow, bottom 2 yellow, and then to the middle. And go back to the 6th peg down in the center and loop up straight to the top now. Then we can start on some of our detail work. Yay! Get a hair colored band, 2 if you want. Get it ready on a couple of your left fingers. Open part of the hook away from you. You're going to push your hook through the bands on the top center peg. Grab that new band and pull it up and through. Put the other side on and pull one piece over the other to create a slip knot. This can go on a hook, your finger, or a C-clip, and the rest of Lagoona can be taken off the loom now. I really, really love the names of the Monster High characters. I think they're so super cute. Okay, so if you can see, this is the side we just pulled off. It looks like she's got massive sideburns. We don't want that, so we're going to turn it around, push the eyes through, and now this is our front, and that's why we turned our body over. I'm coming back to the back for a minute, put my hook through a couple of bands on the back side, grab that securing band and slide it under and onto a C-clip. And this can go under a nearby band. If you have any loose bands, you can kind of grab them in. So if this was really loose, I could go under a nearby band, take my loose one, pull it under, put it on a C-clip. Let's do the little neck piece. Taking a single blue, wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. If you have a bead you'd like to play around with here, you can do that. This goes onto 2 blue bands, or 1 if you'd like. We're going to put one side of this over the head. So if you want, you can, we'll leave one side on the hook just to show, or a C-clip. One part goes over the head, over the hair, so that it will sit around the neck. Now the other side, we want to hold on to it, reach through from the back to the front, just at the bottom of that clear neck section. Grab a hold of the blue bands connected to the neck piece, the necklace, and slide those through to the back. You don't want it too tight, just a little bit of tension there. And this goes onto a C-clip for the necklace. If if you really want, you can weave it up to where the pre-existing, like where our face C-clip is, but that's a lot of weaving. And we're probably going to use that C-clip again anyway. Let's put a pink band onto the arm, stretch it, pick the arm you want, twist over once, twist over twice, and position it where you'd like it. For each of the legs, we'll do the same thing. Cannot believe how twisty these came out. Pop it over, twist it around once, twist it around twice. And adjust. And last leg, last time. 3. Okay, so that's set. Let's bring the arms in. Now you can leave your arms where they are if you want them to sit tight. What we do is position it, turn to the back, go under a dress band by the side, grab a piece of the arm. So this is where I want it to sit. I'm going to pull the blue over the arm piece and over the top of the hook. And you can put a C-clip on there, or what I'm going to do is weave it across. So under a blue, bring the clear over. Under a blue, bring the further one over. And I'm going to go across until I reach the spot where my other arm is going to be. Now if this is looking really complicated, then just put on a C-clip here and repeat. For the other arm, go under a piece of blue, go under a piece of the arm, and bring the blue over and over the top of the hook. This is still the back side that we're looking at. And this goes onto a C-clip, and I'll turn it around for you right away so you can see how this looks. We're going to do something similar with the legs, but a little less complicated. Just hold on. These clear ones are so tight, which is good, but yeah. Put that under another band. Okay, so this is it on the back, and this is it on the front now. And for the legs, we've got one more thing to do after this. You can pick 1 or 2 spots. Well, you can run a wire through if you want, but alternately you can pick 1 or 2 spots, turn it to the back, put your hook through. Like I said, these came out really funny this time. I think some of my bands were sort of too stretchy to begin with. So I've put it through one piece of one link out of each leg, and I'm going to put the far one over the other and over the top of the hook. And then you can put that onto a C-clip, and what it does is it pulls the legs together. So you might want to do this at 1 or 2 spaces and put that on a C-clip. You can see my first time these bands weren't too stretchy and they were nice and straight. So hopefully yours came out like that and you only want 1 or 2 points of connection here. Now the other thing, the last thing, for the headpiece, if you have a blue bead or star-shaped bead you'd like to use, you can go with that. To do this with the bands, it's a little bit funny, but what I did is I took a single blue, wrapped it 1, 2, 3 times, pulled it onto 3 blue bands. And you might want to have some C-clips for this or little hooks, but what I did is I came through near the top. I grabbed one piece just off of one side, pulled it through to the back, put it on a C-clip, and we already have a C-clip here, so that's even better. Put it on the C-clip, turn back to the front, reach in just above the forehead, take a piece from the other side, pull that through, put it on the C-clip. You might find there's another way that you'd like to weave them in or secure them, but this works just fine. Except that this one's not going on. There we are. Now again, as I said, you might want to have each of these held by something else as you're doing this. I'm coming over from the side, grabbing one more, bringing it through, put it on a C-clip. You can use multiple C-clips if you need as well, of course. Go through from the other side, back to the front. Try and keep this kind of even. Grab another piece, pull it through. I'm going to start a new C-clip, or actually I'm just going to take one of the pieces we have already, pop it off, pull this over that one, and replace. Now I've got 2 more pieces. If you're finding this really, really difficult, you can do this with 2 bands instead of 3 through. Oh, no, this doesn't want to go on. We'll get it, there we go. So I've got 2 more. Let's see where I'd like these to go. I'm gonna put one to the top again, maybe. One over this way. So you sort of have to eyeball where you'd like it to be. Play around with it a little bit. You might find yourself taking out and putting back a couple of pieces as you go. If you have a bead, you might find that it's easier. And this one I'm going to put on top as well. So we've got something kind of like this, kind of like that. And as I said, you can play around a little bit with where your pieces end up. If you end up with something like this and you want, you can always take another one. Say I want a line from here to there, pull it through, reach through towards the center, grab it through again. Sorry, I don't have an easier way of doing this unless, like I said, you have a star-shaped bead or a bead and you want to draw on a star. Those are a couple of different ways you can do it. At any rate, I think we've got everything else. I have some other Monster High tutorials out. Oh, one more thing. You want your hair to sit together? Weave across the back through one chain, through another, pull one piece over the other, and keep going across. Put it on a C-clip, and that will hold that tight. Okay, so now we're good. I have some other Monster High doll tutorials out. I'll throw this on the playlist, and I encourage you to have a look. Thanks for watching, guys.